In this episode of Kids Podcast, I am honored to share wisdom with you about leading kids in your church and in your home. Dealing with kids is hard work, and I'm praying that we add some tools to your tool belt today. So let's dive into today's topic. I used AI to write this message. Whoa, wait. Don't hang up on me yet. That was just clickbait. So in this episode of Kids Podcast, we're talking about using AI to write content. I am Ron Gale, your podcast host for this episode. And here in Kids Podcast, we're all about leading kids and their leaders into an overflowing life with Jesus. And today's topic is all about using AI to write sermons, to write content, to write messages, to write stuff and things. We're both going to hear some philosophy on AI use and tips and tricks on how I use AI to get it done. So strap in, load up, let's go. We're going to talk about AI and ministry. Boom. First and foremost, let's hit this philosophy issue, because there's many of you that have clicked on this and was like, what? This guy uses AI in ministry? I cannot believe. Or you saw something on Facebook and I suggested this as a listen. Maybe you have had an actual conversation. You started looking around and you found this podcast. Doesn't matter. You are here listening. And you kind of want to figure out if you're okay with AI, and then if you are, how would you use it? So let's hit the philosophy first. My philosophy is this. Number one, AI is a tool, not a replacement. Just like your toolbox, just like your mechanical box, just like your fishing tackle box. It is a tool to help you get things done. You're not going to live inside of an actual toolbox. You're not going to live inside of an actual garage. You're not going to live inside of your computer. You're not going to live inside of your tackle box, even though my house kind of feels like a tackle box. AI for me is a tool, not a replacement. I use it. It does not use me. Boom. Big deal. Secondly, I use AI for things that are transactional, not relational. Let me repeat. I use AI for things that are transactional, not relational. It helps me get things done. It helps me to acquire. It helps me to learn. It doesn't develop a relationship for me. Now, I might use AI to be a therapist so that I can be better or wiser or educated on how to approach relationships. But it's not going to have the relationship for me. And I do know that there are AIs out there where people are having full-on relationships with their AI, and that is super not real. Let's put it out there. That is not real. That's not what I use AI for. I use AI for things that are transactional, not relational. And third, especially true when it comes to being a pastor or a content writer, when it comes to spiritual matters, I refer to a spiritual master. I'll repeat again. When it comes to spiritual matters, I refer to a spiritual master. I will not rely on something artificial to replace something that is spiritual. All right? Only my Heavenly Father, the Holy Ghost, the Holy Spirit will help me with spiritual issues as a spiritual being in the spiritual world, fighting a spiritual warfare. So when it comes to praying, fasting, wrestling with scriptures, and transliterating and translating that scripture for other people, I need something real in order to get it done. So when it comes to spiritual matters, I refer to a spiritual master. Now, within that philosophy, I can use tools and transactions in order to be better at relationships and spiritual delivery. I can use tools and transactions to be better at being a pastor, a coach, or a parent. And that is the nutshell of my philosophy in using AI in ministry. If you can think of it in terms of fishing, I can either teach you how to fish or catch the fish for you. And some of us use AI to try to catch the fish. And that's just not a real thing. uh, we've gone from A to B to C. That's not even possible. All right? We've heard that analogy before, that I can either catch the fish for you or teach you how to catch a fish, right? Because if I caught the fish for you, you have the fish for the day. If I taught you how to catch a fish, now you can go catch your own fish and feed yourself for a lifetime. If I taught you how to be a fisherman, you'll catch a lot of fish and feed your whole family. All right? But some of us are using AI to catch fish for us, and that's just not a thing. It's not even possible. I suppose if you wanted to get nitty gritty, like down to the meta facts, the AI would have to be implanted inside of a bot. The bot would have to have access to lures and tools and be out by the water, and that bot would have to be waterproof, and that bot could, in theory, catch a fish, right? A theory. Probably even happens. But you get my point today. I can either teach you how to catch a fish, give you a fish, but both of those items are way better than AI doing it for you. And so when it comes to the philosophy of using AI for content writing, either we're going to buy curriculum that some other human wrote, you're going to either learn how to do it yourself and write your own curriculum, or you're going to have AI do it for you. I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle of all three, where I know exactly what I want. I've written it before. I've been writing it for years, and AI knows who I am and what I'm all about, and I use AI as my tool to create a transactional thing so that I can preach a quality message. And so let's talk about that next. As we explore some tips and tricks, first we need to come to an understanding what AI is. And it's super important to get a full scope and understanding of what AI or ChatGPT is, so that you can use the tool to your most effectiveness and efficiency. So right off the bat, AI, it's not a search engine. AI is not a replacement for our collaboration or our skills and traits. And for specifically ChatGPT, is not even AI. A lot of the professionals don't refer to it as AI, although it is artificial and it is intelligent. They refer to it as an LLM, or a large language model. And it essentially is providing a general pre-trained transformation of speech, thoughts, ideas. You know, when you're looking at your phone and you start typing text and it gives you ideas or autocorrects or auto words. Specifically, if you have an iPhone, you'll type in, I want to go fishing at the, finish that sentence. It's going to predict. It's a predictive text. It's going to predict that you're going to say lake, water, river, creek, one of those. So ChatGPT is ultimately a predictive language pattern at a massive, huge, ginormous, monstrous scale. So yes, although it is by definition an artificial intelligence, its more simplistic understanding is understanding that it is an LLM, a large language model, that is a GPT, or a general pre-trained transformer. So you're not going to get the same type of search engine that Google gives. You're not going to give the same type of response that humans give. You're going to get pre-trained predictive concepts and at scale. So then we come to understand what a prompt is. It's understanding that when you give it a prompt, you receive what you give. If you give it a weak sauce prompt, you're going to get a weak sauce response. So for example, I say, hey son, let's go fishing. Well, we could go literally anywhere local and we could get some bluegills from the local pond. But what my son is not going to get that day is a 30-inch steelhead. Instead, we have to prompt the scenario. We have to say, hey, we're going to go get steelhead today, which means we have to drive somewhere that actually has that water source. But that's just the next level. We have to provide better prompts to get better responses. And we have to provide the best response for the best responses. So I say, hey, son, what do you feel about like a 2-day trip to Erie, Pennsylvania, where we spend the night and we walk the tributaries to catch 30-inch steelhead? Now it is giving me the best answer. I'm giving you the best version of a fishing trip. And ChatGPT essentially does the same thing. If you say, write me a sermon, well, you're going to get what you get. But if you say, write me a kid's message using the story of David and Goliath, about the topic of courage, and throw in an illustration, then it's going to narrow down something better. But if you say all of that plus Assemblies of God, theology plus my worldviews, understanding my personality type, using my outline, using my pre-prompts, it will generate a much better response. Now, those are just prompts. The point is that if you give it a weak prompt, you get a weak response. If you give it a mediocre response, you get a mediocre response. You give it a better prompt, you get a better response, and so forth. The more you up your prompt, the better you're going to get a response. But on top of that is the next level, is understanding context. If I say to my son, we're going to go fishing, but he has no context to what we mean by fishing, he's not going to know what to expect. The same is true with ChatGPT. You have to give it a context. The audience is going to be ages kindergarten through 4th grade. It's for a church environment that I am well aware of, that I visit all the time, that I'm at weekly, that I work at, where the kids know me, where characters is a normal thing, where illustrations are a normal thing, where props are a normal thing. I'm giving it all the context around the actual topic. And that helps produce a better prompt. Then I go to the next level. The next level is understanding iterations, reiterations, and refinement. So no matter what chat gives me, I'm going to look at it, I'm going to dissect it, I'm going to critically think through it, I'm going to ask questions, I'm going to ask new questions. I'm going to expand on concepts and ideas. I'm going to remind it. I'm going to iterate, reiterate, and refine. I'm going to change. I'm going to continue to tweak. And this works regardless of ChatGPT. Even if we were to go and buy a curriculum from Orange or some bookstore and we start writing down our message, we don't just deliver the first thing. No, we don't do that. We iterate, reiterate, and refine. We tweak it so that it fits us, if it's our culture, if it's our context, if it's our worldviews, if it's our theology. And even when we're standing on stage, what we wrote is not what we say. We sometimes change it in the middle of the sentence. Isn't that what we do as humans? And that's the power of being a human, is that we have the ability to think on our feet and be innovative and be spontaneous, creative. It's a large part of what we do as pastors, as teachers, as coaches, as parents. On top of that, now we're looking into preserving who we are through the process, preserving the master content that we want to work with. So if you've ever worked with ChatGPT or some of the other AIs, you know that as you work with something, it begins to deviate a little, but it's not really deviating. It's just trying to be improv. It's trying to improv. I don't know what the right word is there, but it's improvising the situation. It's trying to provide nuance or creativity or innovation or more so that it helps us think bigger, better, brighter. Because that's a large part of its next step, which is the workflow. We might be talking about writing a message, but it is designed, it is pre-trained, a general pre-trained transformer, to think through the next steps for you. So you have this thought to write a sermon. So now you have an outline to write the sermon. Now what? Well, it's going to provide the next step of the workflow. Do you want to turn, you'll notice, it will even ask you, do you want to turn this workflow or this message into a PDF? Do you want this message to have a good illustration? If you want, we can turn it into a 4-part series. If you want, we can turn it into a podcast. If you want, we can write a book out of it. If you want, we can generate an image. It will generally provide you with pre-trained or predictive transformative concepts for a workflow. That's what it is doing. So now that you have a full understanding of what AI is and isn't, it will help you to use it as a tool, to use it as a helper, to use it as a transaction, to use it, not ignore it, not fight it, not run from it, not be afraid of it. Because at the end of the day, AI and ChatGPT is not a magic. It's not something weird. It's not the Terminator. And it is just an algorithm. It is just math. It's a predictor. And sometimes it can be silly and stupid. And don't get me wrong. I'm sure that someday in the future, it can be very, very weird. But for today, for this particular episode, for this message, this mission, it is an LLM providing me with GPT as a tool to make transactional things happen so that I can do better at being a leader. So now let's dive into actual tips and tricks I do in order to do 3 things. And those 3 things are message writing, or if you want to word it as content writing, organizational leadership planning, and graphic design. Let's walk through the 3 together. First things first. Before I get into all those things, I need to change my preferences. There are 2 preferences I want to change. The first is the preferences for chat, and the second is the preferences for myself. I'm going to go into the settings of my chat, and I'm going to tell it what kind of chat I want it to be. I want it to be serious. I want it to have a sense of urgency to my time. I want it to be brutally honest to the things I'm asking. And honestly, when I'm talking about leadership, I've told it to always give me a fishing analogy. True deal. That actually happens. Secondly, I've given it preferences about who I am. I have given it my personality profile according to Myers-Briggs, my Enneagram, my leadership assessments, and so forth. I've even given it my wife's personality profile so that it understands me, because the more it is prompted, it will push out the better results. Some of the things that I've given it was, this is how I outline my YouTube scripts. This is how I outline my podcasting. This is how I outline my message writing. A great example is my outlines are use a bunch of P's. I have a primer for my introduction, I have a point for the main point, and so forth. A bunch of P's for my entire message outline. So then I go into my chat and I use the upgraded version. I pay a little bit just for a little bit more features, more memory, more access. But specifically, I wanted the ability to use project folders. I pay for that. So whenever I'm doing any kind of project, from content to organizational leadership to even graphic design, I use a project folder, and I keep that entire project in that folder because chat will use that folder as an access to memory. So now chat accesses memory to that folder and memory to my preferences. And no matter when or what I'm working on, if I see something I want to be remembered forever, I tell it in the chat, and chat remembers it as part of the GPT. So let's say I'm writing a message, part one, and there's two kinds of messages I'm going to write. The first kind is it's already written, I just need help. The second part is I need to write the whole thing from scratch. I'm going to do both pretty much the same way. The difference is one already has stuff for me. It'd be like I got orange curriculum, it's all there, and I don't like this game. Then I'm going to go to chat and talk about it. But let's use the second idea since I'm going to start from scratch. All right, I'm going to open the folder and we're going to title it Easter Message. Why? Because someone called me and asked me to write an Easter message to deliver at their church. I recorded this whole conversation on the phone with their permission. I transcribed it using my notes, and then I gave the uploaded content to chat. I've given my PDF documentation of the event to chat. I've given my notes to chat. I've even taken a picture of my notebook of my ideas, given it to chat. I've even just said, hey, I have this idea. Remember this idea for later. Do nothing with it now, period. And it has it in there. Did this many times with many things. So now I'm ready to formulate this message. I'll say, chat, open up my message outline and let's work on this now. And so it will spit out a full message outline based on my preferences, based on the P's that I've already have uploaded. It's going to have the primer, the point, my personal application, the passage, the powerful memory verse, the people application, and the practical application. It's going to have it all outlined based on my P's. And it's going to plug in the things I've already told it. It might be the memory verse that was from the document. It might be the passage or Bible story from the conversation. It might be anything I told it at any point. And then it might say something like, oh, and we're going to talk about resurrection. I never told it to talk about resurrection. That is chat doing the improvisation. It's doing the general pre-trained transforming thing. And since Easter is about the resurrection of Jesus, guess what it thinks that we're going to talk about? Boom. So it fills in what it thinks we're going to talk about. I will say, show me the outline. Bada bing, bada boom. And then I have my phone read me the outline. Or I just read it. Now, one of three things are going to happen. I'm going to find things that I love. Yes, this is perfect because I've already put it there. Yes, I love it because it's an idea. 2, no, I don't like it. Let's focus on this. Let's change it now. I'll even say, hey, this primer, I don't love it. Let's focus on this. We lock in, and then we lock it in. And then the third is, I like these things, but don't like this, but let's focus on it. Either way, we're getting to the same point. I don't want a mediocre message. I want the best version of the message. So I'm looking for the yes moment, not the meh or not the ew. I want yes. So I'll say, chat, let's focus on the primer. I want to do a game for the primer. This is the introduction of the message. The kids will be seeing this, and it will open up the door for us to talk about Jesus. So it understands that it is the opening of the message. Give me 5 ideas. Only ideas, list only. bada bing, bada boom, bam. I'd be like, oh, hey, I really like that idea. Let's roll with that. Lock that in. Or I'll be, no, I don't like any of these 5. They all are weak sauce. Give me 5 new ideas. And then usually the third thing is one of the ideas is triggers a spark. I'm like, ooh, hey, number 2. That's getting the creative juices rolling. Yes, let's roll with that some more. Give me 5 ideas specifically around number 2. And maybe tweak this. Maybe I had this idea, add that note in there and go. And sure enough, boom, yes, I'm in love with what it gave me. And let's lock that in. Now, chat, give me an updated outline based on our new lock-in. And it gives me the whole new thing. So I've used chat now to help me get things done. Now, I will do that for the entire message. All my P's are done. I will review, iterate, reiterate, and refine the entire message until it is all done. I won't stress too much about the end product, but when it is done, I'll say, turn this into a PDF because I'm just going to print it out later. Now, I'm not too stressed about word for word. Why? Because I'm a pastor and I'm going to change it anyways. You know how it is. You buy your curriculum from the bookstore. You buy it from Orange. You bought it from whoever, wherever, you even wrote it yourself. What are you going to do before you get on the stage? You know it. I know it. We all know it. You're going to change something. And not even that. While you're standing on the stage, you're going to be a human. You're going to see something. You're going to sense something. You're going to have sensitivity to something. You're going to discern something. And you're going to change words the second before you say it or don't say it. Why? Because you are the human. You are the one tapped into the Holy Spirit. You're the one who's got the spiritual aptitude to see what's going on in order to affect lives. Because why? Because you are the pastor. You are the leader. You're the one that's all about leading those kids into an overflowing life with Jesus. This is why it's super important to understand the ethics of using AI and that it is just a tool, not a replacement. And when you are dealing with things that have a spiritual matter, you have to rely on a spiritual master. So I can't overstate that. For me, when it comes to chat, it is a tool that works for me, not makes me work for it. So let's go to number 2, organizational leadership. This is going to be very simple. It's the easiest of the 3. Take anything you do at your desk. I double dog dare you to ask chat to do it for you. Simple as that. Ask, how far will this thing go? How much time will this thing save me? So for example, boss man comes in and he says, hey Jim, get me the rundown by 2:00. And you're like, oh, okay, I'm on it, boss. So then you go open up your chat and say, chat, what is a rundown? What does a rundown look like? Give me an example of a rundown. How should I write my rundown? Okay, here's what I know about this particular thing that I think it's talking about. Write me a rundown. Bada bing, bada boom, bam, submit it, boom. And everyone's gonna be like, whoa. And your coworkers gonna be like, hey Ron, or hey Jim, or hey whoever, or hey you, I didn't even know what a rundown was. But you got it. You got it done. And so now the rundown is done. So I challenge you with, no matter what it is, a basic example, scheduling. You get a perfect storm. For me, I have a Excel sheet that has all my leaders with their first name and initial. So Dan L, Jesse H, and Jake, all down the full list of people. These are all my leaders. I have a categorized by what capacity they are, what their responsibilities are, and so forth. And I'll say, hey, chat, I have a perfect storm. I have 6 of these people are not available. I don't know what would be the fastest way to get this done. What do you think I should do in order to get the schedule done for this week? Watch what happens. Bada bing, bada boom. Upload that document to chat and see what it does. I just double dog dare you to push chat to the limit and see how much time it can save you. Because if chat can save you an hour of your time, guess what you can do with the other parts of your time? You can now use that time to be a human, to worry about spiritual issues like fasting and prayer and big decisions. You can now focus on your vision. You can now focus on things that you've never been able to focus on, like writing a book or starting your own podcast, or you name it. And for me, I have a kid that wants to spend time with me. I have a son that wants to spend time with me. I have a wife that wants to spend time with me. I have a dog that needs to be fed and wants to spend time with me. There's things I can do as a pastor, or even as just a human, or as a coach, that now has time to be done. All because I allowed the tool to do the work for me. And was it doing it for me? We can debate that. Either way, I'm the one that prompted it. I'm the one that's got to prove it. I'm the one that's got to use it. And I'm the one that's responsible for it. So if you want to spend an hour doing your schedule, fine. If you want to spend 5 minutes doing the exact same schedule, fine. For me, I have 55 other minutes that I can use elsewhere to get greater things done. Let's go to number 3. Number 3, we're talking about graphic design. I do a lot of graphic design. I know a lot about Photoshop. Before ChatGPT, I did it the old school way. I drew it with my hand and then I went to my computer and figured it out. Now, you simply need to understand that there's prompts, and if you have a weak sauce prompt versus a moderate prompt versus an awesome sauce prompt. If you say, give me a fish, who knows what you're going to get. If you say, give me a trout, you might get a trout. If you say, give me a pink trout, give me a pink trout. But if you give it a paragraph, you're going to really lock in. Now, what I'm saying, a prompt, I'm saying I just released a wordless picture book just the other day. And one of the prompts was so long that I had to scroll with my thumb twice to see the entire prompt. I'm telling it the feel, the context. I'm telling it what I want it to say, what I don't want it to say, where I want it, what is acceptable. I'm telling it to refer to a master content profile. I'm telling it to lock it in. I'm telling it this is the final product picture, to not give me a concept art that the characters in the picture need to come from a reoccurring folder, that this is we're going to be reusing it and reusing it and reusing it, and then I have to reprompt it and reprompt it and reprompt it. It is a long prompt. So my big tip and trick is that when you're doing graphics, small prompts give you weak sauce images, but I double dog dare you. Give it the longest prompt you can think of. And honestly, you don't even need to do it. You can just say, hey, this is what I want. Do you understand what I want? And sometimes you'll ask it to do something, and it'll be like, hey, you can't do that. That is a violation of our policies. You can say, chat, give me the prompt that helps us get to where we want to land correctly. And it will give the prompt to you. And sometimes you do a lot of tweaking and a lot of things. And every now and then I take just enough of the picture and then take the picture into Photoshop, and then I tweak the rest. But point is if you don't want AI looking picture, change the prompt. So there you have it. Those are my big tips and tricks for the 3 big things I do in ministry: content creation, organizational leadership, and graphic design. Prompt. It's just a tool. And yes, Jesus is Lord. If you've got questions, I hope that I can help you by pointing you in the right direction. I hope this all helps. Until next time, everybody say, bye, Pastor Juan. Thank you for listening. Smash those like buttons, turn the bells blue, or whatever the kids are doing these days. At the end of the day, our goal is to raise little people to one day become big people. You can find older archived podcasts on our YouTube channel and support what we do at rongaleministries.com. Enjoy!